Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day number 12 of my 25 days of Christmas. Today we're going to be making some DIY wrapping paper. So I've had this roll of quite thin white paper for the longest time now, and I'm really trying to kind of use up some bits and pieces that I've got in my studio here. So I thought it would be really cool to have a go at making some of my own wrapping papers. So this is quite a thin paper. You could probably find a roll of this type of paper in maybe the kids section, just that kind of basic paper for them to draw on. And I did then just cut I think it was about 20 inches or so. I think I cut it to the edge of my cutting mat. So this is going to be quite a big piece, to fill up. The first one I'm going to do is going to be quite simple. We're literally just going to stamp a Christmas sentiment on here, and we're going to be using just some black ink. So we're going to start off super simple, and we are then for the next one, so we're going to create two, and we're going to do something using a previous stamp set from Creative Stampin', I believe it was. So yeah, starting off quite simple. So I'm going to show you something to begin with that this was kind of my first attempt. I thought this would be kind of cool, but to be honest, it really didn't work. And I think that's because of the paper, probably more than anything. I wanted it to colour it a little bit. So I was going to do some ink blending. I picked out this Rustic Wilderness and I went to start blending it on, and it really just didn't work, to be honest. Again, whether that was because of the type of paper it was, it just didn't move around very well. So I definitely decided to abandon that. But you got to have a go at these things to see whether they do work or not. So with this piece, I'm simply just going to cut this section off. We're going to make some wrapping paper that is going to be shorter, and at the end of the video, with the two papers that I create, I'm going to use both of them and kind of show you both of them. So if it doesn't work, just cut it down, just start again. It's only paper at the end of the day, only a tiny bit of ink. So there's not a problem with any sort of waste or anything. You've got to give everything a go. So you already seen that I put my stamp onto my acrylic block, and like I said, for this one I'm just going to stamp it with some black ink. So with this, because I used the Versafine Onyx black ink, you just want to make sure that you let it sit and let it dry before you do actually use it. There was a couple of instances where it smudged a little bit, but overall I think it came out quite nicely. I just create this repeating pattern all over with this sentiment. They are quite close together. You could, if you wanted to have them, it all spread out a little bit further, so maybe you didn't have to stamp as many times. I really liked how this looked in the end. I think it came out really nicely, and I create like a little Christmas parcel at the end with this paper, and I did really love how this one looked. The stamp set, I can't remember 100% what it was called, but it is from Funky Fossil Design, and it is one of their Christmas sentiment sets. If they've still got it available, I will link it in the description box down below for you if you want to check this one out. But I really liked the size of this, so I was going for something slightly bigger, so then we can cover this, because it is still quite a big piece of paper, and this probably took me maybe about 20 minutes to fill up entirely. I was trying to get really great impressions on here, but the one thing that I really love about wrapping paper, so you can have it all going in the same direction. If you know how you're going to use it and what you're going to wrap, you could think about the design a little bit more. Like I said, I was just happy just to have a go at creating some wrapping paper. If you were, say, creating a card and then you had some bigger sheets, if you don't have a big roll like this, you could use some A3 cardstock. Depending on the size of what you're creating, you could use some A4 cardstock. You could create a bag. Sometimes it's nice to have everything kind of matched together. If you are creating gifts for for friends and family, and you want everything to match and kind of look really cohesive. So again, you could have a Christmas card that matches. You could have a gift bag that matches. You could have wrapping paper that matches. Sometimes it's nice just to have everything match together nicely. And if you've got something that you really did want to use and make the most out of, again, this is a really great way of doing it. Maybe you sell cards and gift bags, things like that. Maybe that's something that you make. Try adding, creating your own wrapping paper into that as well. What I think would look really nice as well is if you use maybe some craft paper. So you can probably get craft paper just regularly, like on a roll or in bigger sheets, or maybe you can find some craft wrapping paper already that does allow you to stamp onto it. Maybe if it's not coated, you could stamp onto that. It is always nice in the craft paper, but again, this is what I had on hand, and I really just wanted to have a go at creating my own wrapping paper. So with this, you can see I'm just now coming around all of the edges. So the way that I do use this ends up being sort of the wrong way round, really, and you'll see that at the end. So again, you can think about the design a little bit as well. If you know what you're going to be using it for, then yeah, definitely think about that to sort of get it to go the right way around. So this I'm going to pop to one side, like I said, just to sit and dry before we use it. And the next one, we're going to do a few different images, and we're going to do some coloured ink as well. So this again was from Creative Stampin', I believe it was, and this was just filled with foliage. I think it was called Festive foliage, something like that. And then I do have this Happy Christmas sentiment in here as well. So altogether, I picked out that sort of curved foliage. I had the little orange segment, I had this cinnamon stick, and then again we have this Happy Christmas. And then I picked out some of my Hunky Dory Prism inks to use with this. So I didn't want to just do ones with black inks, and I wanted to add some extra colours and things in here as well. So this first stamping, I tried to get a little bit of creative where I mixed a few colours together, but in the end I do just end up using one of those green inks. And again, this one I didn't think too much about the design. Again, I kind of stamped them. So I had an orange, of course, for the orange segment. I had a nice, I think it was a cinnamon colour for the stick there, and then I had the red for the Happy Christmas. So the Happy Christmas one was probably the one that didn't stamp the best in all of the places, but again, I just kind of left it how it was. I don't end up using this wrapping paper properly. I do wrap something with it in this video just to show you, but it's the other paper that I actually use for something, to send a parcel. You can see that one. So I did just try to double stamp it because I missed that section in the middle. It didn't come out any better, really, I'd say, but again, it's just nice to create something a little bit different. And again, this particular stamp set, if anyone does have it, it's great because you've got tons of different images. So if you are creating wrapping paper, whether it's for a birthday, whether it is Christmas, if you something you're going to have a go at, it's nice then to be able to incorporate lots of different images into that wrapping paper as well. And you can also change the orientation. So you can see that I'm stamping this and the sort of the words as it's facing me, but you could just make it completely random, so it really doesn't matter how you are stamping this. So it was really fun to have a go at making my own wrapping paper. Like I said, it's not something that I've ever kind of done before, certainly with kind of the illustrations that I've started creating. I think it is a really fun addition. Like I said, if you are creating bags, if you're creating cards, tags, things like that, just to have that really cool sort of a full collection. So I'm just going to repeat all of this until I have got the entire piece covered. I don't believe that this one was quite as big as that first one that I created, but the only thing that I could really find in my room that would fit in this was my mini misty. But you can see that I did fold in the edges. So this is something you can do if your edges aren't perfect, or what you can do is, of course, just sort of, cut it better, slightly more straight than probably what I ended up doing. But I just wanted to kind of show you this using the paper and kind of wrapped up so you could see what it looked like to kind of create your own wrapping paper. So I really loved how this turned out. It's something just a little bit fun, and again, if you're going for that real handmade personal Christmas, I think this is a really great touch. Even if you've only got one stamp like we did in the first example with the wrapping paper, that's still going to be nice. And yeah, I love this. I think it just looks really, really cool. So I'm going to finish this just with a little bit of ribbon just to show you kind of a proper finished look here. So just did a nice dark ribbon that matched with our sentiment, and we're just going to tie it all the way around, and then to tie a really nice bow then on top. So if you are interested in hand making, making everything kind of handmade this Christmas, definitely consider making your own wrapping paper. So then for the second one, I'm going to create a little happy mail parcel with some Christmas goodies for a friend of mine. And I took one of the A4 boxes that I have been using for my parcels recently. And you can see I folded in the edges again. And then I've put in some bits and pieces in here. You can see how this is going to sort of fold down to look. So I popped in some of those gift boxes and sweet boxes from the Papercraft Essentials magazine. I'm also going to pop in some Christmas cards that you would have seen be created here on my channel. So I thought it'd be nice just to create a really lovely little bit of Happy Mail Christmas, just for them to get kind of a little bit more excited as we move closer to Christmas. So currently I'm just kind of going through the cards that I wanted to include and grabbing some envelopes for that as well. So, you know, I think this looks really, really nice in the box. You can see that it is kind of the wrong way around, but to be honest, I'm happy with that. That's not an issue for me. But again, it's nice just to have that little bit of something handmade in here. So you can see I'm just popping in all of the bits and pieces. So if you are creating just some nice little boxes for people, just with some nice activities for them to do, again, just all those little handmade touches, I think make a really lovely difference. So we're popping the cards in with the envelopes. So just trying to work out the best way to get it all to fit in nicely. We've got the boxes and I put them into new bags, took them out of the packaging, put them into new bags, and then just wrote some instructions on the front. We've got a card, and then I went to add a little sticker to keep this closed, and in a second you're going to see me rip the wrapping paper, which I was very annoyed about, to be honest. So you see me lift it up here in a second. I went to fold it over and then it just ripped. So I wasn't very happy with that. So definitely be careful if you're using thinner paper. Again, thankfully this was going to somebody that I love, so it was all okay. But yeah, a little bit frustrating there. But again, I really liked how this looked. Then it was like a really nice parcel, I think, for somebody to get, and just keeping it closed then with a little sticker. So that is day number 12. So hopefully you guys might have a go at creating your own wrapping paper. I think it's something super fun that you can do just to add to a little bit of a handmade Christmas. So that is it for day number 12 of my 25 days of Christmas. Don't forget to come back and join me for tomorrow's video for day number 13. We're getting that much closer to Christmas. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and Merry Christmas.